Good afternoon, students. Today we will start with your biology new chapter, the biotechnology principles and processes. Now, before we start with the chapter, we need to know that what is biotechnology actually. If we divide the term biotechnology, that is bio and technology. That means when we apply technology in biology, that becomes actually biotechnology. And the field of biotechnology actually deals with the microorganisms, plant or animal cells, or the enzymes to produce products, new products or modified products which is actually useful to humans. Okay. Now the term biotechnology was given by Carl Erecki in 1919. Okay. Now, according to the European Federation of Biotechnology, it is actually the integration of natural science and organisms, or the cells, parts, and thereof the molecular analogues for products and services. Now, coming to the principles of biotechnology. What are the basic two principles of biotechnology? There are two basic techniques which are used in biotechnology. That means all the biotechnological processes actually have to undergo these two processes. The first one is the genetic engineering and the second one is the sterilization. Now, genetic engineering is actually modification of chemical nature of the genetic material, which is the DNA or the RNA, and their introduction into the another host organism to change the phenotypic character of the host, and then and making it desired. That means making it more useful, much more fruitful. Okay. Now this actually helps, which is actually accepted by the environment and is also adaptable to the environment. Okay. Now this modified organism can be commercially used as well. And the second technique is the sterilization method to maintain growth and manipulation of only the desired microbes or cells in large quantities for the manufacture of the modified product or the biotechnological product. This includes antibiotics, vaccines, enzymes, etc. Now, the basic steps of genetic engineering includes: the first one is the identification of the DNA with desirable genes. That means we have to identify which part of the DNA or which gene is actually responsible for a desirable character. The second step is the introduction of DNA into host to form recombinant DNA. Recombinant DNA is the rDNA technology. That what is recombinant? That when a foreign gene is introduced in a DNA, that becomes a recombinant DNA, and this technology or the process is known as recombinant DNA technology. The third step is the maintenance of the DNA in the host and gene cloning. The gene cloning means producing the same number of copies in huge amount, and this is required for commercial produced. And the last step, which is the fourth step, is the gene transfer. That means this gene has to be transferred from generation after generation so that the desired gene can be utilized by the people. Now, this recombinant DNA technology, various steps are carried out. A gene encoding the antibiotic resistance in the native plasmid of the Salmonella typhimurium was identified first. Okay. Now, what is a plasmid? You have already gone through the term plasmid in class 11, but very less. But here you will know the details of the plasmid. Okay. Plasmid is an extracellular self-replicating DNA. Why extra nuclear, not extracellular, extra nuclear. Why extra nuclear? Because it is not found in the nucleus. Usually DNA is found in some organelle, either the nucleus or the mitochondria or the chlorophyll, but this plasmid is actually found in the cytoplasm of the bacterial cells. Okay, so and it is also self replicating. That means, what does self replicating mean? That means it can produce the required number of copies without any external signaling. Okay, so and it is also extra chromosomal. That means this particular plasmid or this particular DNA is not at all found in the inside the chromosome. That's why it is known as to be the extra chromosomal. Now the desired DNA was cut at specific locations. This is the second step for the recombinant DNA technology, and this cutting of the DNA is done by various molecular scissors, which are the restriction enzymes. Then the desired gene which is being isolated, that is being linked with the plasmid DNA and then transferred to the E. coli for gene multiplication. Okay. Now first we will come to the tools of the recombinant DNA. The various tools of the recombinant DNA includes the restriction enzymes, the polymerase enzymes, the ligases, the vectors, the host organism or cell. Okay, so first we will go through the restriction enzymes. What are restriction enzymes? These are also called the molecular scissors. These are not the normal scissors which we found, which we know. These are molecular scissors. Why these are molecular scissors? Because these are actually composed of molecules. That means DNA can also be cut with the help of molecules itself. That means a part of DNA itself. And these molecular scissors are also responsible for cutting off DNA. Since they are enzymes, they are proteinaceous in nature, and they are also called the restriction enzymes. Now they are present in the bacteria to provide a type of defense mechanism, which is the restriction modification system. The first restriction enzyme is actually of two types, that is the restriction endonuclease and restriction exonuclease. Exonuclease actually are not specific in nature. So they cut the DNA at specific ends, not at particular point. But the more useful molecular scissor is the restriction endonuclease, which cut the DNA at specific site. They are more specific than the exonucleases. The first restriction endonuclease was was the HIND2, which was isolated from Haemophilus influenzae bacterium, and it was used to cut the DNA molecule at a particular point by recognizing a specific sequence of 6 base pairs. The sequence which is being recognized by the restriction enzyme is called the recognition sequence. Now, coming to the restriction endonuclease naming, the naming of the restriction endonuclease, how it is done? The first letter is derived from the genus name and the next two letters from the species name of the prokaryotic cell from where the enzymes is being extracted, and the Roman numbers which follow the name, which are actually show the order in which the enzymes are being isolated from the bacterial strain. Like if we take the example of the ECO R1, E is derived from ECO is derived from Escherichia coli, RY13. Okay, so it is ECO R1. The R1Y13 is the strain. Similarly, HindII is isolated from Haemophilus influenzae RD. Okay, so now the recognition sequences of the endonucleases, that means the sites which actually the endonucleases recognize is known as the palindromic sequences. Palindromic sequences are the sequences which are if we read from left to right or right to left, they become same. If we take the example of madam, if we see from left to right, that is MADAM, and if we see from right to left also, if we read from right to left, that is also MADAM. So these type of sequences are being recognized by the endonuclease inside the DNA, and they cut at that particular sites. Now each endonuclease cut the particular palindromic sequences. That means palindromic sequences are also is specific for specific type of molecular scissors. Okay, now coming to the mechanism of the DNA, mechanism of the action of the molecular scissors. If you go through the diagram, we will see that every endonuclease actually inspects the entire DNA sequence or the palindromic recognition sequence. Now, on finding the palindrome, the endonuclease binds to the DNA. Then it cuts the opposite strand of the DNA in the sugar phosphate backbone and a little away from the center of the palindrome sites, but between the same bases on both strands. And this results actually when the when the restriction enzymes cut the palindromic sequences, they cut in two ways. If there are flanking ends, these flanking or the hanging ends are the sticky ends, and if there is no flanking ends, both the strands of the DNA is cut in straight manner, they are known as to be the blunt ends. Okay, now the formation of a single stranded overhanging stretches, since they are known as the sticky ends, this type of end is more useful for ligation, that means joining of the desired DNA. So these sticky ends actually facilitate the action of the DNA enzyme ligase by readily forming hydrogen bonds with complementary strands. Now, in genetic engineering, the DNA from different sources are cut with the same restriction enzyme so that both the DNA fragments have the same kind of sticky ends. Like molecular scissors, if they don't match the complementary ends of the desired DNA and the host DNA, so they will not bind. So the host and the desired DNA is being cut with the same restriction enzyme so that they can recognize the same palindromic sequence, and so that they can get ligated with each other very easily. Okay, so today up to this, we will continue with the next part of the chapter in my next videos. Thank you.